Well, as you can see by the title already, and if you've already have seen inside the chat or not, this will not, again, this will not be a regular forecast. Tonight's forecast will not be a regular type of forecast that we do at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. This is a live coverage stream. So, what does that mean? Well, I haven't done one of these in a hot minute. It's been a good little minute now at this point. But what we do is we go on. I pull up the stream tab over here. You can see at the bottom all the stuff that we have over here from the warnings that we had currently, and then also what was down there, the alerts down there at the bottom. That is just the alerts that we have just in general, but it doesn't go in actual order. It just goes in and kind of just scrolls across the screen. But the latest warning that we do have, you can see, is at the top part where you see the warning start, the warning end, the phenomena, also the warning summary. And then also the county that you see over there, that is also at the eastern side of the screen. So again, like I said, this is not a regular forecast for tonight. We may, still go over models, and we are. I want to, break down all that stuff again for tonight and what's going to happen there. I want to see the ingredients. I want to go on and take a look over at the SPC outlook, look at the updates, all that kind of stuff. How long are we going to be here tonight? I have no idea, but nobody is obligated or, you know, should have to stay here the entire time, because obviously I know if you're over there in Charleston and, the severe weather's up here inside the upstate, you may not want to. Now, would I love for you to stay? Absolutely. Absolutely. But most of the actual coverage is really going to be inside this pink zone and can move its way down over into the low country later on tonight. But I think that's going to be like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I probably will not be up at that time unless something crazy is going on. But like I said, that's not for a while now. And so one of the main reasons why I decided to do this live stream for tonight that does not, it's not like a regular forecast, is because we have tornado warnings that are moving their way from North Carolina through Georgia, also about to move its way into South Carolina potentially. So we have severe thunderstorm warnings already moving throughout the state. We have 4 currently, and remember, you can also check this all out on the scweather360.com website. But you can see 4 severe thunderstorm warnings. The first one's over here for York, for Rock Hill going into Fort Mill, and then also Clover and Blacksburg. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds. A tornado is possible, and then an inch in diameter hail. We also have another severe thunderstorm warning over here near Inman, near Boiling Springs, over going towards Spartanburg, and will impact Spartanburg pretty shortly. With, again, 60-mile-per-hour winds and a tornado warning potentially possible. You move over there inside of Pickens and Easley, Salem, those areas, again, 60-mile-per-hour winds, a tornado is possible. And then we have another severe thunderstorm warning towards Walhalla and Salem. A tornado warning is again possible. So you kind of get the gist here of everything that's kind of going on, about how you can see multiple tornado possible tags throughout a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings that's going on up here inside of the upstate. Now, I also did post this earlier. If you look over here inside of the watch area, that goes all the way from the upstate down to the Midlands, down over inside of the PD areas, you can see that there is indeed that severe thunderstorm watch that goes all the way from like areas like Florence to Dillon to Marion, over into Bennettsville, also inside of Chesterfield as well. And then as you move down towards the southern areas, obviously the Midlands, the Low Country, Grand Strand areas, you're not seeing that. But again, we'll get into why in just a moment, of why those areas should still be on the lookout, even though you don't have the risk currently. Now, this is currently what we're looking at. So this is Tuesday, July the 28th, 2026. This is the current SPC outlook that we currently have. Now, in the yellow, that's a slight risk. In the green, dark green, that's a marginal risk. And then if you're in the light green, that's just a regular thunderstorm risk. And you may be asking, well, what are the actual implications here? What are we looking at in terms of actual hazards? Well, glad that you asked that. Taking a look first over at the wind threat first, because the wind threat, that's the main threat. That's what most people are probably going to see. And if you're in the red, you have a 30% risk of damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. If you're in the yellow, the slight risk, that's a 15% risk of severe weather. And if you're in the brown, that is a 5% risk of severe weather as you move over into tonight. So again, that threat is not only for the upstate, not only for the Midlands, not only for the PD areas, but also down into the low country areas as well. The tornado threat did drop a little bit from earlier because I believe there was a 5% risk of tornadoes over for areas in the northern PD areas, but they did drop it. They did drop it, so now everybody only has that 2% risk in the dark green. That's Greenville, Spartanburg, Rock Hill, over towards the northern PD area. So that's that 2%. And then as you move over into the hail threat as well, that goes over into the upstate areas. Not really too much inside of the PD areas, though, but that's a 5% risk of damaging hail there inside of the brown. So that's the hazards that we're looking for in general. Now, there is a very, 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 very small chance of isolated flash flooding. You can see up there inside of the upstate, rather be over towards Rocky Bottom or over towards the Mountain Bridge Wilderness area. Those areas have a 5% risk of flash flooding, but again, 5% isolated, and it's not really too widespread throughout the state. So I'm not too concerned about the flooding threat, but even if you are inside just that little 5% risk, please make sure that you are paying attention, because it doesn't matter. Here on the South Carolina Weather Channel, we take every risk seriously, no matter if it's a 5%, a 2%, a 1%. Doesn't matter. Every risk here gets taken seriously. And so that's really the main thing that I wanted to go over in terms of the official threats. So what about the models? What do the models say for the future? Well, if we go in and take a look at the 23Z, because I think that is that's the one that they're doing now, so we'll take a look at that one later. Let's go back to the 22Z real quick first. So this is right now what we are currently looking at. And if I go over to the models right now, you can see we're around, by around 8 p.m. here or so. There goes all of this shower and storm activity that we're paying attention to. You see it starting to move its way down south into the upstate areas, over into the PD areas. And watch how it traverses its way down towards the south. Here is 9 p.m. And again, these storms don't seem to be over. We even go to 10 p.m. and it just continues moving down south through Columbia by 11 p.m. By 12 o'clock in the morning, we could have some more shower and storm activity moving throughout the southern Midlands, moving throughout the low country areas. And then as you move into around 3 o'clock in the morning or so, things kind of calm down a little bit, but you still have some of that leftover moisture that stays with us even as you move to around 5 a.m., even to 6 o'clock in the morning or so. And so, again, I don't know how long I'm going to be live for tonight. How long? I have no idea. I mean, it could go all the way to 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? Who knows how long I'm going to be live for tonight? But everybody is going to get some coverage until I eventually fall asleep at one point. But like I said, until I think things are starting to calm down. Things are starting to kind of traverse its way back towards just South Carolina regular thunderstorm levels. Then we'll go up. I'll go and. Again, what time will that be? I don't know. I mean, I think that it probably won't be any earlier than 10. I'm just going to be honest. Honestly, it could be even past 11. So again, like I said, nobody's obligated to stay here the entire time. If you have to leave, if you have to go do something, if you're tired, if you just don't want to stay in general, I mean, again, that's fine. But if you could stay, that would be actually fantastic. So, that's what I wanted to say there in terms of the models first. I also do want to go in and check out the chat real quick, see what we have. And so my Aunt Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Prayfully, everyone enjoyed their day. Today's high in Georgetown was 94. Currently, it's 85. Sorry to see the severe weather is approaching. Yeah, I mean, we are going to receive some. Again, doesn't really matter where you are. As I believe, unless you're down there in the very southern parts of the state, pretty sure everybody is going to get at least some sort of taste of the severe weather here. Now, as you move over, which I have to find on my stuff, because this was, usually don't do this in this format, but we'll go in and make it work real quick. Bring this on over here. There we go. My cousin Cheryl says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, weatherman. I hope all is well. We're in a tornado watch, but I see nothing right now. That's why I listen to the weatherman. Love you. Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for that comment. Thank you for the weather report. But I did check out, I did check out Philadelphia a bit earlier, and that was really because I did see that you were under the tornado watch over there, and if I move my way up towards the north, it does seem like that's kind of like over by now. But I think that your storm threat, I mean, you can see you have rainfall kind of going through right now, and so I think the main thing here is kind of what kind of happened earlier, because earlier you were under a severe thunderstorm warning that was kind of causing some issues. But again, the main storm, I think it's pretty much out of your hair. I think you're just looking at some rainfall potential, as you do have a flood watch for the next 18 hours, and there is a couple of flash flood warnings even observed towards your north and towards your west as well. But you are still under that tornado watch, so still keep that in mind. But they may get rid of it, and may eventually go on and um, and expire it early. Now back over to the chat real quick. My name says hello, Jane. All hello to you. Another nice day. Was a little warm. Well, thank you so much for that weather report for you. WFIN2 News says amazing work. Thank you. Same to you as well. I was on your stream earlier. And then Trail says greetings, everyone. It's raining here. Some thunder. Thank you for the weather report for where you are. And then Mr. Michael says good evening, all. Hopefully the weather will not be too bad this evening. Yeah, I mean, that's what we all hope for. Hopefully it's me just kind of just playing around, not really hopefully talking about too much severe weather here. But again, like I said, we're here for that reason of just in case things do get bad. And again, this is the current situation. This is the current situation that we have, to where there is 3 severe thunderstorm warnings over there again, and all of them have that risk. All of them have that risk of a tornado with it. Now, as you can see over there inside of the more Spartanburg areas, that area has a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 3 minutes. Now, what are they going to do with this? That's a great question. Just because I don't see them expanding it yet. I mean, I guess we will see if they expand it more into the Spartanburg area, but I'm more interested to see in what they do afterwards, after the system is done, because it's moving. It's moved through Boiling Springs. It's about to move into like Hilltop towards Saxon, South Carolina, moving throughout Lyman, South Carolina. Already done in Inman, but through Spartanburg down to Roebuck, down all the way into Moore and Woodruff. What does it do there? And so also, you also got to remember is we still have this tornado warning over here inside of North Carolina moving into Georgia, and then it's going to move into South Carolina potentially if that storm does stay rotating for long enough. Now, if it does, you're talking about areas like Walhalla, like Long Creek, over into the Sumter National Forest, over towards Westminster. Those areas could potentially have the next tornado warning if it continues to move its way down towards the south. And then don't forget about the severe thunderstorm warning that's also included in this, with 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail being up to 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Same thing over here for the one inside of the Boiling Springs moving down towards Spartanburg. And then obviously this one's the big one, 60-mile-per-hour winds and an inch in diameter hail moving into York counties, going through Rock Hill, Fort Mill, McConnells, and Blacksburg. So a lot of things, but it's really not that much. Not really that much at all. If we want to take a look at the crazy score right now, we are at a 73. We are at a 73 right now. Obviously, severe weather is impacting South Carolina, and we are, seeing a 65 on the alert scale and then an 8 on the condition scale. And so, makes sense. I mean, it does make sense. We have multiple severe thunderstorm watches. We have a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings kind of going on. And then the conditions just, being just with regular cloud cover, you're seeing stuff like, I'd say, rainfall kind of impacting some areas where maybe severe weather may not be so bad. And all of that adds up. All of that adds up together to bring us this crazy score here. And it can go even higher. I think the max it can go for tonight is 85, because once you get to 86, that's catastrophic. And obviously, hopefully at least, nothing catastrophic is really expected as we go into tonight. But again, we keep it here, just in case if something does get going. I don't expect it to get catastrophic, but I mean, the category is there just in case if it does decide to happen. Now, I do have something pulled up I do have something pulled up because obviously I think that if we just looked at a radar and kind of just talked about every frame of a storm for like the next 2 or 3 hours, that wouldn't be too. That would be kind of boring. That would be kind of boring to go in and just take a look at a radar image like this for the next 2 or 3 hours and kind of just say, oh, well, here's some rain down here, starting to move its way down. Oh, here's some, severe thunderstorms going on up here, all that kind of stuff. So that would just get kind of boring at a point. So I do have something pulled up over here, and I'm going to bring it away. And what it is the 511 SE cameras that are going on throughout the highway. So we can actually see what these storms look like on the ground, actually. And so one that I am taking a look at already is down here on I-85. This is over here. Let me see if I can go full screen there. I can. I'm going to do this instead, though, make it a bit easier on myself. There we go. I'm going to bring it down even more. And so one thing that you do see automatically, I mean, you see rainfall, but I mean, it's not really a whole lot. And again, this is kind of near where, just to the north of Spartanburg, and if you remember, if we go back to the actual radar itself, you're not really seeing a whole bunch for when it does come to this one particular one. So let me go ahead and move this over here real quick, over there we go. I mean, yeah, I mean, you do see some, it does seem like some heavy rainfall is going on, but I think that may be a bit too far up towards the north, so we're going to go in and kind of push that back a little bit. And I'm going to push this more into the actual Spartanburg area. And again, you don't really see too much here either. Don't really see too much here either. So I'm going to go in and move this. I think it's kind of like a weird zone that they kind of have it in, because they have it towards the northern part. So I'm going to move this up here, see what happens here. There we go. I think this is the same camera. If it isn't, I think it is, though. But it is progressively getting worse in this area of Spartanburg over here. And so, overall, I mean, everything's looking fine. You're not seeing anything too bad. I'm not seeing like any intense winds kind of moving through. But it seems like that they did allow that warning to expire. So, I don't know if we could move on over here towards this one. Let's see if they have anything on this side of the state here. Move it up, and we're not going to move into Gastonia. We're going to move towards the Blacksburg area, and you can see that there again, stuff's going on, but I mean, it's not too bad. It's not really too bad at all. And moving on up more towards the border, see some more activity. I see some more trees in motion. But overall, things are still rolling. So, I mean, that's, obviously what we want to see. Even if there is some, severe thunderstorm warning, even if there is some just regular storm activity that kind of goes on, everything else seems to be kind of moving in. And this is on I-85, mile marker 104.9 there. 104.9 there. But I'm not seeing anything too bad. Now, another thing that we want to take a look at as well is over here back at this regular risk of this tornado warning over here inside of the North Carolina, Georgia areas, because it does seem like if we go on and take a look at its rotation itself, let me go and switch over to velocity. There it is. I mean, it's not the strongest. It's not really the strongest for when it does kind of show up here. Not really the strongest. But it is something that I guess that they're just kind of using as a precaution. But like I said, not really the strongest here. I mean, radar indicated expires in 26 minutes. I mean, overall, hail is less than 0.75 inches in diameter. So, I mean, I'm not really too concerned about this, not really too concerned about this warning either. But again, I would still be paying attention. Rather if I'm down there inside of Mountain Res, rather if I'm down there inside of Long Creek, rather if I'm down there inside of Walhalla, because you never know when in the world things could go on, things can take place. And again, this risk over here, which is honestly, I think the main thing that most of us are watching for. Radar right now is showing around 20, 30 plus miles per hour, but some even 40. I see 42, 43. So there is some pockets in there that are potentially producing 60 miles per hour plus, and it doesn't really even look too much in terms of, heavy rainfall. Kind of really just looks more like the more lighter impacts. Like the more lighter rain pockets is where the heaviest winds are going. But then if you look at the actual heavy rain portion itself, I mean, yeah, you have some winds of up to 30 miles per hour in there, some maybe a bit more, but it seemed like the more lighter rainfalls carrying the more heavier winds in terms of that storm system there. Now we also do have these showers that are moving in from North Carolina down through Pageland, down into Ruby, down over into Chesterfield, South Carolina, and so that may potentially try something. But again, may not. Charlotte, receiving their own severe weather over there as well. And like I said, throughout all the other regions, like the Low Country, like over there inside of the Grand Strand areas, you're not really seeing too much at all. You're not really seeing too much at all right now. And in fact, let's go and move our way down there real quick. Let's go and move our way down, see what in the world we can see here over inside of some of these areas. Well, this is over here off of the Ravenel Bridge here in Charleston, and it's dark, which makes sense. It's 8:20 p.m., but there's a lot of cloud cover. There's a lot of cloud cover down in these areas. I mean, you see people walking, though. People are doing fine. It's a bit windy, though. But, again, things don't really look that bad in a good amount of these areas. And so, let's go on and move to another area. Move over into more of, kind of skip over. Like, for example, I-26 and I-95. Again, not as dark as maybe over there in Charleston is, but it still is right now, kind of, or I don't know what the world's kind of going on with that car over there. I think that's that's just a glitch, or I don't know what the world's going on there. Oh, there we go. Now it's moving. All right. Let's see. What about Bennettsville? Bennettsville right now, I mean, I don't really see too much going on over there right now. I'm not really seeing too much. Just, showers up towards your north and west, but I mean, I don't really see too much going on right now over there. But you are under severe thunderstorm watch, so that's something to keep in mind as you move into like the next 5 hours or so. But nothing right now. Nothing right now. And then as we just continue our way through, they did just issue a new severe thunderstorm warning, though, up here inside of, or I believe that was a new one. Let me check when in the world they updated. That was around 8:17. So yeah, about 5 minutes ago or so. They uploaded a new severe thunderstorm warning over there towards Salem, towards Walhalla, towards Mountain Rest. And that may produce 60-mile-per-hour winds. That may produce a tornado with it. They still have that tornado possible tag with it. And then 1/4 of an inch or less as you move into the next 23 minutes. What will happen? I mean, for right now, I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of say, what does a severe thunderstorm warning mean? Well, what a severe thunderstorm warning means, I'm actually glad that you asked that. It's where you can either have 60-mile-per-hour winds or an inch in diameter hail. What that does mean is that there's a possibility that that could happen. You have the radar indicated one, you have the observed one, which means that somebody actually did spot it. And so if you do get a severe thunderstorm warning, you're seeing one or two of those things, again, rather it be with 60-mile-per-hour winds or up to an inch in diameter hail. And so, like I said, over there towards Bennettsville, it's kind of hard to say exactly what will happen. Y'all might just see some rainfall. Y'all might not see any severe thunderstorm warnings at all. Or it could potentially just be, a quick hit or miss severe storm that may try to come by, and you may see some severe weather. So, just make sure that you're staying in touch there. And so, moving our way down even more, Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. Glad to see that you are here for tonight. And, I mean, again, like I said, overall, I mean, not too much else. Not really too much else. This is kind of the early part. I think as we move later on, things may get a little bit more active, rather if, you start to see these storms start to fire up a little bit more. Now, if these storms right here don't continue, then we may be out of here quicker than we may think, especially if, these storms up here just continue to kind of just produce regular conditions for a severe thunderstorm warning. We don't really see too much because overall, the actual watch itself said scattered damaging winds of up to 70 miles per hour likely, isolated large hail of up to an inch and a half inches in diameter possible, and then maybe a tornado or two. And it says a broken cluster of severe thunderstorms will move southeast into the watch area this evening. A few stronger storms will be supercells capable of mainly wind damage, But isolated large hail and perhaps a tornado are possible with these storms through the early evening. As storm outflow um, as storm outflow goes into later this evening, this activity pushes southeast, and severe weather will transition to a primarily damaging wind threat. And so, a severe thunderstorm watch means that conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms in a close to the watch area. Persons in these areas should be on the lookout for threatening weather conditions and listen for later statements and possible warnings. Severe thunderstorms can occasionally produce tornadoes. And again, I mean, that's really the only thing that they have there. So 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, an inch and a half in a diameter hail, and maybe a tornado or two. Now, one good thing that, I mean, we're already seeing some good signs here. What is this? The tornado warning that was going on over towards the state, the one that I said I wasn't really too concerned about, they did let it expire. They did let it expire. So right now, we're not looking at that specifically, that specific area of rotation that we're watching go on and impact the state. So that's something good to kind of keep in mind of. So overall, things, I mean, aren't really looking too bad. Things aren't really looking too bad here. Now, let me see if they finally did upload all of the model guidance here. Don't think that they had it there. Let me check this one. It's not there quite yet, so let me check out this one. There we go. There we go. And so, well, let me move to the 23Z again, and it's all uploaded. So let's go in and see what this model run says right here. So I'm going to move back into the models screen here. And just as we go in and push this forward all the way through to around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., I mean, it still looks, it actually still looks tries to stay pretty organized there. There's 8 p.m. and then 9 p.m. You still see showers and storms, but, I mean, compared to what we're seeing now, you're not really seeing too much of that going on compared to what was actually modeled. And so, moving through to around 9 p.m., going all the way through to 10 p.m., 11 p.m. or so. And it shows this nice, organized line of storms kind of moving its way down, all the way from the upstate areas, down into the Midland areas, down to the PD areas, down into even the low country areas where things kind of calm down a little bit more, and then kind of move into the CSRA areas, maybe right around 1 to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning or so. Moves throughout the Grand Strand areas, like over in Georgetown and Horry counties by around 2 a.m. And then overall, they kind of move out, get out, and they don't really seem to return. So, could the models over here be, kind of overhyping it here? Well, let's check out the ingredients real quick and see what we have. Well, dew points right now are up. I mean, you even see some areas up into the 80s or so, but that's more towards the coastal areas. Up here inside of the more upstate areas, you're talking about the 70s or so. And then, if we go in and take a look over at the height, I mean, the height's up there as well. I mean, I can see why they said maybe a tornado or two is possible, just because you see some spots to where we're, 40 knots or so in the air, kind of spinning up. That's producing some shear as well. And then, obviously, the thing that I like to look at the most being the CAPE levels, because the CAPE levels, if they're up, usually the severe weather threat is up. And, I mean, you can see kind of where some storms are kind of starting to eat at that CAPE. And if I'm just looking at the sounding right now, it says severe. So, I mean, the models right now are kind of saying the same thing. Like, this could be a day to kind of go in and or a night to go in and just continue to watch. Whereas it may not be over, even as we move later on into tonight. This is around 11 p.m., I believe so. We go in and take a look at the sounding, marginal tornado, and even still some significant hail of up to 1.75 inches or so. So that's what that CAPE levels are actually kind of producing there. That could cause that to happen. Now you may be asking, well, I see all this CAPE inside the low country areas. I see all this CAPE inside of the Grand Strand areas. What in the world? What the world is all this? I mean, 4,000 joules per kilogram. That's a lot of CAPE, by the way. That's a grand amount of CAPE right there. You see that the CAPE that we have is there, but you don't really see the rainfall too much. Now, the rainfall that we do have is more up into those northern areas there, and they have not quite made it. But once those storms do move closer, they're going to be more into maybe like the more inland low country areas, not too much towards the coastal areas to where that real CAPE is, and that's that real cape's not really going to be there until later on, but I'm still getting severe, like over here inside of the Tri-County area, Dorchester, Berkeley, Charleston County. I still see severe. So that's the reason why we have this risk of severe weather as we go over into tonight. And that is just because all of this cape that we have, all of this energy for storms, all of this wind shear that we have that could produce tornadoes, um, all this moisture that we have in terms of the dew points as well. The main thing is, will the convection get going, and what's going to happen to all this heat? Because also, it being hot does help out a good amount as well. If I, for example, go on and move over into my current temperature at my house right now, it's around 88, feels like 105. I went up and saw my Aunt Lula said it was 94. Currently, it's 85. So it's still hot for a lot of us. Still hot for a lot of us. This is the current temperatures right now for a good amount of us. You see Columbia at 91, Charleston 85, Somerville 86, Myrtle Beach 84, Conway 84. Moving up into Clemson, it's around 87, Anderson around 87, Greenwood at 87. You see 83 up there in Gaffney, York, Rock Hill, 91 inside of Aiken, 86 inside of Beaufort, also inside of Hilton Head Island. So let me go in and check out the stream real quick. I've not seen it in a hot second. See if we have anything. I don't see anything new for me. But we do have a lot of people that are here for tonight. We've had 60 people tune in for tonight. So if you've not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, please go on and do so. It's free. It's free, and it's always going to be free. And for the people who are here tonight, again, thank you so much for being here for tonight. Again, like I said, I don't know how in the world any of this is going to play out. This could be, may be nothing, and I may be gone soon, or it could stretch out. And for right now, they did just issue a new special weather statement. I'm actually gonna get rid of this because this is kind of useless just sitting there. There we go. They did just issue a new special weather statement over there for Spartanburg, going over into Wade Hampton to Five Forks to Simpsonville to Fountain Inn, all the way down into Union, and also Gaffney is included. That's for 40-mile-per-hour winds and a quarter of an inch in diameter hail. And I mean, you can see around close to 30-mile-per-hour winds is kind of moving throughout a good amount of these areas right now. And some of them, some of those gusts that we have could potentially be higher. Some of those gusts potentially could be higher. So from what I'm seeing right now, in terms of any sort of movement from these cells here, they're not saying anything right now. It says no movement was detected. So I guess maybe it might come on later on. But for right now, they are moving their way down towards the south and east at around 30 miles per hour. And again, that's like Spartanburg, Gaffney, Union, Malden, Taylor, Simpsonville, Five Forks, going down to Woodruff and Duncan, South Carolina, where 40-mile-per-hour winds is possible. Now, moving back over here where we just were earlier, Clover, York, Rock Hill, Blacksburg, 60-mile-per-hour winds. But again, looking at the actual velocity with it, I see some around 40. I see some winds up to around 40 miles per hour or so. But nothing in terms of widespread 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there. And then up towards Walhalla, where there is another severe thunderstorm warning again. I mean, you do see some reds. You are kind of seeing some greens as well. So maybe something to watch for in terms of a tornado warning later on down the line. But not really too, again, not really too strong right now. Not so broad right now to kind of look at it. STN says, hi, hello to you. I do remember you from earlier. Do remember you from, actually, like a long time ago there. And then Mr. Chris is here. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Hello, everyone. Good to be here. Well, you tuned in on the right day, because we're not doing a regular forecast tonight. This is not, the regular forecast that we do at 8 p.m. anymore, which, by the way, yes, we did change the time all the way from 9 p.m. to 8 p.m. And so, now, this is just a severe weather coverage stream. Again, like I said, I don't know how long I'm going to be here for tonight. Could be all the way from 10, 11 p.m. Could be later. Could be earlier. I may be gone by 9:30. Who knows? It just matters on what these storms right here do. And just whatever, if I feel like that I'm obligated to be here, or if people, or if like these storms start producing in more high output areas, then right now, it kind of is. So that's why I'm kind of here for tonight. But for right now, moving on into the future. I guess we'll see how that kind of goes on and plays out, though. But there is some other stuff, and I do want to, let's move out of South Carolina just for a moment here, because like I said, we know we have a severe thunderstorm warning over here towards Rock Hill, York. We see that we do have some more storm activity moving down towards the south and east here. That's for like the next 40 minutes, and then over here towards Walhalla. So let's go ahead and move our way down towards the west real quick. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in northern Georgia. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and there is a tornado warning over here inside of Tennessee, moving on inside of western North Carolina. That moves towards Turtletown, that moves towards Ducktown, over towards Belltown in Tennessee. That's radar indicated, so there's nothing really to watch for there. That's also a flood advisory over there. In North Carolina, there's a tornado warning moving its way down towards to the north of Raleigh. And if you do know, we do talk about Raleigh. This is not the forecast for tonight. This is from last night going into today. And Raleigh is one of those areas that we talk about outside of South Carolina. And as you can see here, there is a tornado warning. In fact, there's a severe thunderstorm warning over inside of Raleigh right now. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. Nickel-sized hail there. And then tornadoes obviously possible over there. You move over into Virginia. There's some other severe thunderstorm warnings over here. Moving towards Saluda, Virginia, Lancaster, Virginia, just to the north of Williamsburg. There also is towards Philadelphia. We were talking about Philadelphia earlier. Bunch of rainfall over in those areas, and bunch of rainfall in the Northeast as a whole. More severe weather out west in like Nebraska and Colorado, but again, not as much as we're seeing over here inside of the eastern parts. Definitely not as much as we're seeing over here. And so I do want to go in and put a poll inside the chat real quick first and see, just as a quick poll real quick, where is everybody watching from? So where are you watching from? I'm going to say upstate, because that's where all the severe weather is. You have the Midlands, you have the Grand Strand. I'm going to put the Grand Strand / PD together. And then the last option being the Low Country. So that's inside the chat right now. Go in and vote. Want to see where in the world everybody is watching from for tonight. And then not only that, but there was a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued over here in Westminster, going on down to Fairplay, and then also in Townville, South Carolina. That is for 60-mile-per-hour winds, three-quarters of an inch in diameter hail, and again, another tornado is possible. So that's moving its way down towards the south and east now, and that's Franklin County in Georgia, Stevens County in Georgia, Habersham County in Georgia, same with Robin County, Hart County, and then obviously in South Carolina for Anderson and Oconee counties there. So that's the main kind of areas that we're watching for up in those areas. The poll right now seems like everybody has said Low Country so far. So would like to see some more representation up there in the upstate, though, obviously, where this severe weather threat is actually happening at. But I am glad and I'm happy that all these people from the Low Country are tuning in, though, for tonight. Now, let me check out the chat. Mr. Chris says it's still 90 degrees here in Moncks Corner, heat index of 103. Thank you so much for that weather report for where you are over there inside of Moncks Corner. Again, glad to see that you are back for tonight. Now, let's go on real quick and take a look and see what else we can see. Last time we were taking a look at this, we saw down there inside of Charleston, we looked on the I-26, I-95 exchange there. So let's go back to Spartanburg real quick, because I want to see if we have any more conditions. I'm kind of trying to line it up. If you look over here towards Spartanburg, I'm looking more down towards the southern parts. And overall, kind of in a bit of a dead zone right now, because the storms are kind of passing over an area where there's not too much. But I guess there is something here. Where we do have, all of these things in common. Traffic is still moving. You're not seeing anything too bad in terms of mainline severe threats. And to where everything's kind of shutting down a little bit, but everything's still moving as normal. Everything is still moving as normal. But again, kind of the main part of the storm is kind of in a dead spot right now because where if you kind of see on the map right here, kind of in this area, and I don't have my pen out, but I can go in and pull that out right now. Let me go in and kind of push this up on the screen, kind of in this area where I'm kind of circling in right now. This is where like the main part of the storm is, kind of going towards that northwestern part of Spartanburg. And, I guess we have a camera right here that's kind of in waiting that we can go in and wait on, kind of seeing what happens there. And there is raindrops kind of going on over there, but again, you're not seeing the most. Not seeing the most right now. We can go in and take a look at other areas though. Can't really look up too much over here because they only have traffic cameras on the highway. There's no official interstate that kind of moves its way up there. So I guess the only other option to maybe look over here. But again, this part of the storm, guess what? Also away from the highway as well. So, you kind of see where I'm kind of coming from here to when I say there's a lot of things going on that we kind of can't see right now because a bunch of things is going on away from the main camera network itself. And speaking of, severe thunderstorm warning that continues to move its way down towards the south. That's for Pacolet, South Carolina. That's where that earthquake just occurred about 10 days ago, I believe so, if not less than that. Union, South Carolina, Lockhart going into Laurens, and then Fountain Inn. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds again in nickel-sized hail. And that's continuing to move its way down towards the south and east. So, areas like Newbury may be included in there in about the next 2 hours or so. Winnsboro may be in there in about the next 2 or 3 hours. And then I'm still watching to see what that velocity kind of looks like, and kind of close to the radar right now, so things are a bit jumbled up. But, I mean, you do see some winds of up to around 30, 35, 40 or so. So I do think that the special weather statement definitely is being verified and being justified here. The severe thunderstorm warning, though, right now, nothing observed completely yet, but one thing that I do notice is that, or one thing that I do know, is that even though, it may see 40, you may see 50, even if there's like a little small pocket of 60-mile-per-hour winds, that's a possibility for everybody to get that warning. So, just a bit of knowledge there if you didn't know. Because, every severe thunderstorm warning that you've been in, if it was a report of 60-mile-per-hour winds that came through, really you may only see a couple of people that may actually get 60-mile-per-hour winds, while the other part just may get 30 or 40, and everyone may not get that 60-mile-per-hour wind. So that's why you kind of see, some spots in the severe thunderstorm warning get so much worse than the others. Let me check out the poll again right now. 83% says low country, 17% says the Grand Strand in the PD areas. And once again, there is an area as well over here. We were talking about Bennettsville earlier. There's shower activity towards your west, but it's not doing anything. Moving down towards the Carolina Sandhills National Wildlife Refuge, and then also the Sandhills State Forest. But it's nothing severe. The main stuff that you're seeing is up here towards the north and west, and kind of not really in your specific area. And so, just scrolling my way out again, kind of just observing, seeing, what's going on throughout some of these areas in the northern parts. There still is that tornado warning up there. That expires, though, pretty soon, just to the north of Durham and Raleigh. Raleigh does have that severe thunderstorm warning over there in North Carolina. Again, Raleigh's one of the areas that we talk about at 8 p.m. sometimes, and, well, most of the time. And for right now, severe thunderstorm warning over there for the next hour or so. And other than that, not really seeing anything else too much new. And as soon as I say that, something new comes up. Something new comes up. New special weather statement. That's over here for Clover going into York, South Carolina, also near Tegakay and Baxter Village down into Rock Hill. That is for 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that officially tells me that they probably will let the severe thunderstorm warning up here inside of the northern part of Rock Hill, Fort Mill, McConnells, and Blacksburg kind of expire. The fact that they put a special weather statement here means that there is still some gusty winds moving through it, but they're not too confident in terms of actual severe weather to be encompassed with them. And so what will that mean in terms of the crazy score? Well, the crazy score right now, we're still at a 74. Severe weather is impacting South Carolina. We know that. Condition score also went up a little bit. So we will probably see this kind of drop down once that severe thunderstorm warning right there does expire. And I think when it does, it's actually going to make it go down quite substantially here, unless we have a bunch of warnings stacked up, because we have about 4 severe thunderstorm warnings. So that may, actually, that may not drop it too much. I think it's actually capped right now. So about 65 on the alert scale, 9 on the conditions, 74 just overall in terms of total. If there are any questions, by the way, that anybody does have inside the chat, I mean, we can go in and look at literally anything that's South Carolina weather related, and just honestly take a look, see what in the world else there is, in terms of other areas of the state that may not be included. If you want me to give you forecast for your exact location, not, well, maybe not exact location, but in terms of like your approximate area, like your town, like if you're in Florence, you're actually, what the world are we supposed to be expecting over here? What's the timing of it? Because somebody did ask me earlier what was the timing for their areas as well. And so all of that, all that's fair game here. All of that is fair game here for tonight. And tornado warning just to the west of South Carolina, not included though inside of South Carolina. So tornado warning is kind of dancing here and there, kind of around, but not quite inside of the state of South Carolina yet, if there is any. And it's 2 tornado warnings, but the main one is over here again inside of Georgia, from Batesville, Georgia, over towards Turnerville inside of Georgia. That's for the next 30 minutes or so. And Habersham, and then I think it's Rabun County. It's Rabun. So that's again right there, right next to that border. If not, let me check out and see how much it is. That's not what I meant to do at all. It's probably around like a couple of miles or so, around 2 or 3 miles away from the border. There's a tornado warning right over there. So not too far. And remember, this entire severe thunderstorm warning that ranges all the way from Walhalla over into Westminster, over inside of Townville and Fairplay, that's all in that risk of that tornado possible tag there. Now, if we go back, I do want to check out the crazy score now that a couple of those severe thunderstorm warnings have kind of gone away. And it did not drop at all. It did not drop at all, which kind of does make sense. I mean, we still do have the heat advisories, I believe, or may have expired by now. There's 7 active alerts right now, according to the Crazy Score webs or the scweather360.com website right now. And it says that the official warnings are obviously the severe thunderstorm warning. There's 2 of them. There's also 3 severe thunderstorm watches, and from a points aspect, 6 points for the special weather statement, 44 points for the severe thunderstorm warning, 6 points as well for the special weather statements, and then 15 overall, and actually being 45 for the severe thunderstorm watch. But that's not, I mean, yeah, that is most likely causing the majority of it to occur. And I think that even if we was to get rid of the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, that would be what, 45, and that'd be 12 there. So that'd be around a good 50, kind of like in the upper 50s or so. And then you add up those 9 extra points from the conditions tab, I mean, we'd still be in the 60s. I mean, we'd still be in that strong category. Maybe not quite severe. Maybe not quite severe, because severe is 71 to 85. But strong, that's the lower 50s up into the lower 70s. So we would still be in strong, just not quite in severe, though. Not quite in severe. And so, overall, nothing else new, though. Have not seen anything else. I'm still keeping a look. Don't see anything else new on this camera, though. It is darker, and you can definitely start to see the rain trying to come down a little bit, and starting to kind of see the camera moving around a little bit, but it's not really, again, still not really as, maybe not as violent as you may think, with 60-mile-per-hour winds moving through. And this is right, kind of like in this area, because Spartanburg's down over here. Actually, it may have passed. Okay, so wait, we might actually be back in business, because there is a strong little bit going towards more. So if I go in and kind of minimize this out, Roebuck is down over there. Moore is kind of over there. I'm gonna move my way over into here, and then I mean, yeah, you can see there is more conditions kind of going on, more thunderstorm activity that's moving throughout this area, but again, not really too much of anything being impacted. Not really much of anything being impacted here. And so, I mean, overall, besides this going on, besides still the special weather statement going on over here inside of Clover and also K over into Rock Hill, and then besides this over here inside of Walhalla, Fairplay, and Townville, and maybe some shower activity over here towards Lancaster, moving down towards Kershaw. You see Camden, may get impacted by that shortly. Bishopville may get impacted by that. Sumter also may get impacted by that too at some point in time by these severe storms, as there is still a severe thunderstorm watch for these areas. And then obviously, as we know over here inside the low country, could be something, if this is anything. Let me see. That may actually be some shower activity going on just to the north of Hanahan near the Naval Nuclear Power Training Command over there in Berkeley County, near Joint Base Charleston there. So that may actually be some actual shower activity moving on. But it's really just only in these northern areas. So let me check out the chat. Let's see if we have anything else here. Seems like around a good 100 people have tuned in tonight. We've had 16 people tune in. Again, if you've not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, please, 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 please go on and do so. Please go on and do so, as it's free. And it doesn't hurt. Only helps me out more than anything. And then also, helps out the audience by letting me go on and get out better content for if we do grow. Obviously, that's going to cause for some more growth in terms of the streaming network here, and then just in terms of the website, getting that more refined. So the more support, the more things that do go on and get upgraded here. And overall, I don't really see too much else to really mention. Here we got all of that kind of covered. We talked about more up into the northern parts here. We got more over into the Virginia area. We talked about the severe thunderstorm warning over there. We talked about some severe storms kind of going on over inside of North Carolina. We talked about Raleigh, and even there is a flash flood warning for 1.5 inches to maybe even 2 inches in about an hour or so. That expires in about 2 hours. And so I guess one thing that we can go on and take a look at real quick is how much rainfall we could potentially see from the new models themselves. So this is from here. We can move on over here. We can go back to the HRRR real quick. See how much rainfall could we potentially receive tonight. As like I said, excessive rainfall, not really the biggest of concerns. Not really the biggest of concerns here. But if I move over into the total QPF here over the next 18 hours or so, looking areas like up there in Anderson, maybe 7/10 of an inch. Over here inside of the Aiken areas, you're maybe talking about maybe 3/4 of an inch. In Columbia, maybe 1/2 an inch. Over there inside of Florence, maybe even 8/10 of an inch. And then also over here inside of the more southern areas, you're talking about maybe in 100th of an inch, 200ths of an inch, but at the most of that rainfall seems to be happening in these northern areas. And one thing that you do see is a couple of these storms could potentially produce up to around 2 inches of rainfall. Now, you may be saying, okay, 2 inches of rainfall, that's a good amount of rainfall and all. So wouldn't that constitute for some type of flash flooding to get going? Well, if we look at around 11 p.m., you can definitely see, 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall in an hour over there, like inside of the upstate, more southern upstate. But one thing that I also do like to go in and take a look at is how much rainfall afterwards. So if you see 2 inches or so, but then you see 1/2 inch or so, it's maybe around 2.5 inches of rainfall in about 2 hours. Not the worst. May constitute some sort of flood advisory at the max, but that's not really too much of flash flood material there. And then even if you move over towards Aiken, for example, to where close to maybe 1 inch of rainfall is possible, over into like Myrtle Beach, over inside of Florence, you may see maybe like 1/10 of an inch or so. Some areas close to around 1 inch or so. But things kind of just calm itself down as, you move into around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning or so. We did get some more answers inside the chat. 71% says that they're watching from the Low Country. 14% says from the Grand Strand or the PD, and then 14% says inside of the Upstate right now. And so, I'm gonna give some people an opportunity to go in and get some, recognition. Go in and get some recognition as we just go in and continue to watch this, as nothing else has occurred too much. So I'm gonna let some people get some recognition real quick. See who was paying attention, because we could do top fans of the night, even if it is not really for our actual live stream for a forecast here. So let's see who was paying attention. Let's see who was paying attention. And so earlier, when we were looking at, let's say, trying to think of something that's actually kind of useful that people would actually remember, but also not too hard, but not too easy either. Because a lot of things that can go on, and usually I have these things made up, but this is kind of just on the fly here. Let's see, real quick, and say, who in the world can remember when we were talking about the crazy score earlier? There was a set amount of points that was already set up, and it was pretty low. We're seeing who can go in and get that correct. What was the official points for the conditions, for the actual conditions themselves, earlier? Not now, currently, even though I may see, if anybody does want to go to scweather360.com real quick, maybe I'll allow that as well. But what was the conditions for earlier? And the conditions points for earlier. Again, that was a single digit number. So really, you have like 9 opportunities there, because it's 1 through 9. So anybody can win it. All you have to do is put a single digit number and just keep on guessing until you get it correct, or, whoever gets it first, whoever was paying attention. And if you go on and go to scweather360.com right now, I can also go on and accept and see who is willing to just go on and take 2 seconds, go over there and get some recognition here and some round of applause over here. So those are the 2 options right there. What was the score for the conditions earlier when we were talking about it, and what are the conditions now? Again, all that's on scweather360.com, or if you were here earlier, you know what I'm talking about. But now let's go ahead and take a look back over at these storms that we have over here. Overall, still that severe thunderstorm warning, still 60-mile-per-hour winds. They're still saying 1/4 inch in diameter hail. And according to the actual radar here themselves, says moving down towards the south and east at 28 miles per hour. Hail is maxed out around 1/2 inch or so. 60% probability, 0% of it being severe. And overall, it says it may be, kind of moving towards Westminster, at least that this portion of rainfall over here over like the next 30 minutes or so. Let me see when is that going to be. At 9:02, actually, so like the next 4 minutes actually. So it'll be there in about 4 minutes or so. And then also, it just in terms of velocity itself, I'm still seeing, up to 25, up to 30, up to 35 miles per hour. So, pretty good amount, but still not the highest. And then over here near Glen Springs, moving towards Union, moving towards Jonesville, that area, seeing around 40 plus miles per hour, maybe 60 plus in some spots. I'm not really too keen on this area over here in the west. This area over here, not really seeing too much of anything. But you can't really tell wind when there is no rainfall over there. So I don't know what types of winds are kind of going on over in that area. But also, over here inside of the more northern PD areas towards the Piedmont areas, there's again this special weather statement for the next 30 minutes or so. That's for 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, and you can definitely see there's a good amount of winds here of up to 40, up to 45 miles per hour or so. So I do think that is definitely confirmed to be producing 40 mile per hour winds towards the west over into areas like Lake Wylie, into Rock Hill, into Fort Mill. These areas definitely don't want to be outside. Anytime there's a thunderstorm going on in July, you really don't want to be outside for that, just in general, just because A lot of lightning activity. It's summertime, and those summer storms, obviously, nothing really to play around with. Nothing to play around with at all. Even if it is severe, even if it's strong or not. Still don't want to play around with that at all. But overall, I don't see. I'm going to leave this poll up for about like the next couple of minutes or so. And I'm going to go in and end it. So if you have not voted inside the poll, please go in and do so. It's just where are you watching from? Upstate, Midlands, Grand Strand, PD, Low Country areas. And overall, I mean, I don't see anything else there. From the polling, I don't see anything else inside of the chat. Let's see how many people have we had tune in tonight. This is over here. Seems like we've had around a good 120 people tune in. 120 people have tuned in for tonight. And so, with that all said and done, I'm still thinking what in the world I'm going to do after, because it just hit 9 o'clock p.m. Just hit 9. And again, not really seeing too much of anything widespread right now. So I'm still thinking, should I go on and take a little break, just let the radar run, and then kind of go on later? They did just let the severe thunderstorm watch over here inside of the western portion of North Carolina kind of go away in Charlotte, over inside of Winston-Salem, moving over towards Hendersonville and Asheville. So that is, something to kind of watch for over there, and just more towards the eastern side now, as there still is some storm activity that's moving on in these areas in western North Carolina, but really the majority of it's in the eastern parts. And then just in terms of tornado warnings in general, we still did have this one over here in Georgia that now expires in about 14 minutes. Not really providing too much here inside of South Carolina as we speak. And then my Aunt Lula did answer. She says 8-8 was the correct answer for earlier. Not the one for now though. So I will give you that as you could be one of the top fans of the night for tonight. But again, whoever can just go on to scweather360.com first and tell me, and go to the Crazy Score page and tell me what the conditions points is for that area, you can go on and win yourself a top fan of the night recognition as well. So let's see, 75% said the Low Country, 12% says the Grand Strand, so that's the PD, and then 12% said, or 13%, said also the Upstate. So nobody said the Midlands. And the Midlands definitely, there should be some people hopefully watching there, just because we are seeing that severe thunderstorm watch not only in the Upstate, not only in the PD areas, but also inside of the Midlands as well. And that's about all that I can see there from that poll. I'll put another one inside the poll though right now. And just as we want to continue to kind of watch this kind of keep going, just to keep the engagement up. Because obviously, like I said, I'm trying to make this as non-boring as possible. Obviously, when you have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings and 2 special weather statements, that's kind of hard to do, compared to if I was doing a good amount of, if I was covering this entire area from Georgia over into South Carolina, over into North Carolina, up into Virginia, that would be a lot more entertaining to go in and take a look at, and to talk about each individual area. We have probably more questions inside the chat and all that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to make this as non-boring as possible, so that's why I'm trying to keep the engagement up with these questions inside the chat, and then also take a look at these cameras as well inside of the I-26 corridor. But as you can see, a lot of these storms are moving their way over towards the east, kind of away from I-26, which is away. But maybe we can look at I-77 in the future for when it does come to some of these showers that move, down towards Rock Hill or so. And for right now, I'm going to go in and put a question inside the poll and see, just to see who has visited so far, actually visited the SC Weather website so far, just to see who has and who has not. I'm gonna go and put that inside the poll right now, so you can go and answer that if you want to. Who has visited the SC Weather website? Again, the scweather360.com website. If you did, you want to put kind of put me over there inside of the poll there, or you could put not yet. So that's the poll there for now. And in about, I'd say in about 5, 10, 15 minutes or so, if we start to see these, or actually I'm going to wait for these things right here to expire. If these storms right here do decide to go on and expire, or if they just, provide like another little continuation, I don't really see too much of anything kind of moving on as we move throughout the next 30 minutes or so. Then I'll probably just go on and kind of just keep an eye out on the radar instead of me going on and talking, because right now it'd be kind of boring to just go on and just talk about two storms that are producing about 40-mile-per-hour winds or so, when that's something that we see almost daily here in South Carolina during the summertime. So we're going to keep an eye on it still, and going to kind of go on and continue to see that. So again, vote inside the poll. That's inside the chat right now. Again, anybody can go on and vote in that. Taking a look at the crazy score once again, still at a 75. Still at around a 75. So we did go up from earlier. Remember, the question for the top fans of the night for tonight is actually, the answer is actually on the screen. I didn't even realize I just did that. But I guess it still does stand for it, because I never kind of ended it yet. So 65 on the alerts tab, 10% on the conditions tab there as well. 10% on 10 on the conditions tab there as well. And then in terms of the rest of the warnings here, in terms of any sort of radar updates, what's the velocity saying? What's the actual reflectivity here saying? You don't really see too much. Let me go in and kind of flip this back right over here. There we go. You see some areas around 40, 45 miles per hour or so, some areas around 50 or so, some areas even more than that. And then as you move over here towards Rock Hill, you see some areas around maybe 30, 40, 50 miles per hour. And then over here towards the western side for this area, we're looking at around 20 to 30, if not 40 plus. So severe thunderstorm warning over there. Will that continue? I don't know. We'll see what happens and what they say about that over like the next 25 minutes or so, 23 minutes or so. But if they do just decide to go ahead and keep it kind of there and keep it as a special weather statement instead of a severe thunderstorm warning, I wouldn't be too shocked by that. And then also down here inside of Union, did they just update this, or was this, I think this was a continuation that says remains in effect. This was updated around 5 minutes ago. So this again, Union, Lockhart going down towards Adams Ford, Shady Grove, Jones Ford, and then down into Evansville. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds that are going to continue throughout this area over here as well. And so that's about for overall on the velocity. It's saying around 40, 50 miles per hour. So not so much of widespread 60-mile-per-hour winds kind of throughout this area that we're kind of looking at right here. If we go on real quick, and I'm going to kind of just put you all on the crazy score screen here just for a second, because we do have new models loading up, and this time, this is more of the, I believe this is the Zero Z coming out, so this should be the next 48 hours, so that should be something good to go on and take a look at whenever it does load up. It's already at 11 hours right now, so we already can actually go on and continue to see what the rest of tonight could look like. And I think that is what we're going to do, actually. That is what we're going to do. So we're going to move over here. And again, this is what we were kind of looking at 9 p.m. or so. Kind of not really happening right now for the most part. But I mean, it's not as organized as the models were quite thinking according to the ARRR here. Now, I know there's another model that we can go on and look at that I will go on and take a look at in just a moment. But this is what the models were kind of looking at around 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., going all the way to 12 a.m. or so. It still, shows thunderstorms pushing its way down towards the south, pushing its way down towards the south and east, kind of away from that upstate area, kind of creating a more bow type of shape. and continues to move its way down towards the south, southwest, southeast, towards the east, towards the west. I mean, honestly, that almost is what it looks like as you move throughout. Now, it probably won't move west, probably move more towards the more south and eastward trajectory, but you do kind of see kind of the bow shape that it does make as you move into, like this is, I think this is around 12 o'clock in the morning or so. And as you move through 1 a.m., 2 a.m., storms going on in the PD areas, the Grand Strand areas by around 2 a.m. And then you move through 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5, and then things calm down. We move over into tomorrow morning by 9 a.m. And again, we're still nice and dry by this point. We're still nice and dry at that point in time. And then I do want to go on real quick and place this as a placeholder again. We now drop down to a 72, so the conditions points did go down. Here. I'm going to go in and zoom out, go towards, instead of here, I'm going to go in and move my way over into the I-77 corridor. See what we can see over there on the cameras in Rock Hill, and just towards the north, where there is that special weather statement going on. So I'm going to move towards here. Honestly, I just see like a bunch of dark images. This one might be something. I can definitely see the camera moving. You can definitely see that something is going on. Kind of hard to, kind of tell a little bit, but you can see that there is some movement. Like, take a look at the bridge over there at the top part of the screen. As soon as I say that, it decides to freeze up. So, give it a second or so. But you could see that there was indeed some movement kind of going on, meaning that there was some gusty winds moving through, meaning that there is obviously that storm kind of moving throughout this area here on I-77 here. Now, again, that's for 40-mile-per-hour winds and 1/4 of an inch in diameter hail. And I'm going to try and go back. Okay, so it's just something wrong with this camera in general because everything else is working. But when you get to this one, it just freezes up. So that's interesting to kind of look at. But just another view. Again, you can kind of see the camera starting to move around a little bit. Sorry for the terrible quality. I guess this is just, it's not on my end. I believe that's just usually how South Carolina cameras are as you move over into the 511 SC website. It's kind of just what you get when you get to around like the nighttime area. Like, no matter if I look down from here all the way down to the low country, it's just gonna look just this blurry. But you do see movement. You do see movement from the camera, meaning that there is gusty winds moving throughout that Rock Hill Moore and that Tegakay and that Fort Wiley type area. And speaking of, or Lake Wiley, not Fort Wiley, excuse me. And speaking of, just continue our way down, I am also seeing as well, look over towards Clemson. There's some more heavy rainfall kind of moving throughout these areas towards Clemson University, over into Pendleton, over towards the Carolina Hills area, and then look down here towards Five Forks, look towards North Forks. There's some more heavy rainfall activity kind of moving throughout these areas as well. Belton receiving some, you see towards just to the west of the town of Piedmont, over here just to the south of Piercetown as well. And this special weather statement right here should be allowed to expire. Only thing that we're watching for again is for like the next 17 minutes, seeing what happens with this severe thunderstorm warning. In terms of velocity wise, I mean, you still do see some of those winds receiving of up to 45, 50 miles per hour. So if anything, if they do not expand the severe thunderstorm warning, they may continue to expand that special weather statement out at that point in time. And then over here into the Rock Hill areas, kind of a more of like a radar hole area here, but not as prominent as these ones over here in the west. But you can see, according to the actual towers here as well, that it's also somewhere around 30, up into maybe the upper 30s at the max, though. So that might be allowed to expire, the special weather statement up here as well. And again, that's in 16 minutes or so. So 9:30 is going to tell a lot, in my opinion. I think 9:30 is going to tell a lot for when these severe storms, start to kind of expire and bring its way down. Because if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure all of these warnings, except for the big blue one over here in Spartanburg, going over into Gaffney, going over into Simpsonville, Fountain Inn, those areas, that's about to expire in like the next minute or so. All of these other areas are set to expire at 9:30. So 9:30 is going to be kind of big in seeing, what's going to happen here for the majority of the night. Are we going to see these storms start to continue and move its way down towards the south and east, kind of still produce severe thunderstorm activity, kind of how the models were showing? Or will they continue to go on and kind of just, or will they go on and just like die down, not really bring too much of anything? And so, with that, I also want to take a look at this model real quick. This was a model that I saw some people were talking about a bit earlier. Let's see if it's on here. It should be on here. If I move over into the convection, the RRFS. Yes, here it is right here. So compared to what we were just looking at here from the HRRR, now this is only updated on 3-hour increments, so it should be up soon. The next one should be up soon because it is 0Z now. And so the RRFS here, I mean, it has also some good showers, some good storm activity going on, but you see how it kind of produces this spot of nothingness over here towards the western part of the state, the CSRA, going to the southern, upstate kind of there. If you take a look and see what's actually going on the actual radar here itself as well, you kind of see that. You kind of see that we have just like this little kind of clear spot, nothing really going on. We have, storms going on over towards the west. We have some storms going on over here towards the east, up into the northern parts. But this kind of just this area over there kind of showing nothing really going on over there. And so as you move over into the rest of the models, as you move later on into the night, all the way through to 12 a.m., all the way to 1 a.m., and kind of dies out as you get into the low country. Doesn't show much, actually. You move through around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., dies out. You get over into the Grand Strand areas. You don't really see too much of anything as well. Let's see. Lisa D says the storm split, that's divided right before it reached us in Clover, South Carolina. Let me go in and I should know. I don't see it on here now, which I've been covering the entire state for a minute now, so I should be able to go in and just point it out kind of quickly, but for some reason I can't. So I'm going to go in and instead just look it up real quick because that's the more smarter thing to do. You are under that severe thunderstorm. What? Oh, you're right over here. Okay, I was looking over here towards the west. Let me bring this back over here though. But okay, yeah. So storm split past you. Let's go in and take a look and kind of rewind it back. I mean, from what I can see, I mean, y'all did get some. I mean, you do. I mean, it does seem that like you do have some actual activity kind of going on up there. Now, if you're talking about with the severe thunderstorm warning, yeah, the severe thunderstorm warning didn't really impact you. But if you're talking about the special weather statement here, you guys did get hit by some good rainfall. And even if we go in and take a look at the velocity as well, it says that y'all got hit by around a good, 35, 40 miles per hour. So I'm assuming you mean by the storm splits, that's like divided like from like the severe thunderstorm warning aspect of it, or if you're talking about the actual if you're talking about the actual storm actually dividing itself. We did get some storm, but nothing severe. I'm closer towards the state park. Okay. Okay. Okay, I do see. Okay. I know what you're talking about now. So, yeah, you're talking about the severe weather aspect and the severe thunderstorm warning aspect of it. So, it did kind of break down before it did get to you. It did break down. And so you didn't really get the 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe the inch in diameter hail that you were expecting, but you got around 40-mile-per-hour winds and maybe a quarter of an inch in diameter hail. On the radar, if you go back further, you can see the cells split in two. Well, I don't know necessarily if this can go back more. I don't think it can. They can only go back into around 8:47 p.m. So it probably was before that. I do see like down here towards like Bullet Creek and Hopewell, these areas did not get Well, I mean, I guess they did get some shower activity kind of afterwards, but at first it kind of looked like that they were kind of getting the short end of the stick there and not really getting too much of anything. But they did get some more severe or some more storm activity kind of later on. I'm so glad we missed the bad wind. Grateful for the rain, though. Absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, I can go on and check and see the Columbia radar real quick to see, because I think, yeah, this goes all the way back to 834. Um, okay, yeah, I see. I think you're talking about maybe down towards the southern part, to where I do see that it did kind of split up a little bit, and because kind of like up here towards the northern part, kind of stays intact. Even when you were under the severe thunderstorm warning, again, where you potentially could have saw an inch in diameter hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, instead, you guys got on the shorter side and got 40-mile-per-hour winds and a quarter of an inch in diameter hail. So, I mean, overall, the better part of it for sure. Going back though, I mean, I mean, like I said, you're not really seeing too much, and so like I said, 9:30 is gonna tell a lot. So 10 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now, we're gonna see what they say here. Like I said, if they completely get rid of the severe thunderstorm warnings throughout these areas, like I said, I'm just gonna go on and leave the radar up, leave it running. I'm just not gonna be talking through it though. Or if we do see another severe thunderstorm kind of coming through, and we kind of see the effects of it, seeing what kind of happens with it overall, may still be here tonight. But overall, convection wise, we're not seeing a whole lot. We're not seeing a whole lot, and I'm going to go on real quick and check and see if anybody else is kind of calling it out too. We don't really see too much of anything else. Kind of just people saying they're just getting missed by the rainfall, which makes sense. Which does make sense, at least from what I'm seeing here. And then other than that, see some stuff about roads being closed in some areas. Cancels, or that's for another area. And just continuing my way down my feed, kind of just seeing what else I see. I don't really see anything else. I see another severe weather discussion over here for eastern North Carolina. That's for around 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible, but nothing new for South Carolina. Nothing new for South Carolina here. And honestly, I do kind of get why a lot of people are kind of upset about not getting a whole lot of rainfall. I mean, yeah, grateful for the rainfall, like Lisa Deeds said, but I mean, there's a lot of areas that really just whiffed on a good amount of rainfall. But what did the HRRR say? The HRRR said some areas might whiff, and even the RRFS, the one that we looked at, the second model that we looked at, that one even said that we potentially could see like a huge chunk, not see a whole lot there. And well, would you look at that? The storm that I called out not too long ago over here near Clemson, we talked about it near Pendleton. That now has 40-mile-per-hour winds and now half-inch in diameter, moving down towards Anderson, Meadowbrook, Belton going towards Oneida Path, and Donalds inside of South Carolina. That's for the next 37 minutes or so, but nothing severe. Nothing severe there. We're going to continue to watch for this. I do think that that they might expand this one down here. And that's what I'm kind of looking at here. To see if they do or not, because I do see that, there is still a good amount of winds that's in the storm system itself. I see around 40-mile-per-hour winds or so. So, I do think that they may go on and try and expand this warning down towards the south. Will it kind of make its way over into South Carolina? I mean, or how much of the warning will be included inside of South Carolina? I mean, for right now, it looks like the majority of it's in Georgia, may continue to be in Georgia for the next warning that does occur with it. And when I say occurs with it, I mean over here in the western parts of the state. I do expect this warning over here, though, near Rock Hill, Clover, Lake Wylie, Fort Mill, that area over there. That special weather statement's going to go away. I don't see too much of anything moving on over in that area. And then over here towards Union, the Union storm that's moving its way down towards the south and east, that expires in 6 minutes. And there is still some pretty strong winds. I mean, granted, it's a pretty small storm. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a very small storm. compared to, all the other storms towards the west, and maybe even some storms towards the north and east. But it still is packing a punch, with winds of up to 45, 50 miles per hour, maybe in some spots. So I do think that they may go on and issue another severe thunderstorm warning for it, but I don't think that they're just going to let it go unwarned. If anything, I think a special weather statement at least a special weather statement, but severe thunderstorm warning, don't know about that. We have to see what happens there. But I know this one up here near Rock Hill, that one's going to go away. I don't expect them to go in and issue that anymore. Let's see, anything else inside of the chat for me? Right now we've had 188 people tune in tonight. 20 likes. If you're a part of that group of 168 that have not hit the like button yet, please go on and do so. It's free. It always will be free. And make sure that you also go on, hit the like button, hit the share button, share with all the people that you know, friends, family members, acquaintances, people that you don't talk to regularly. Because again, like I said, it's free, always will be free. Also, I have been uploading shorts for the past couple of days as well. Been doing obviously with the severe weather threat that we have and stuff with for the future. This is all that it looks like. This is what I look like if you didn't know that. But this is on my channel right now. So you can go in and check that out. Again, SC Weather, 789 subscribers, 2.4K videos right now, continuing to go up. And then this is all of the shorts that I put out. The one over here where I have the Go Ask Mom shirt, not the one in the middle, but the one over towards the left side I uploaded that about a couple hours ago or so. And then the one yesterday, South Carolina's pattern is taking a full flip. That one got a good amount of views. Not the most amount of views that I've gotten. Probably the snow, when we had snow over here inside of the state. That one was probably my most. But over here, one did kind of go off a little bit. So go in and check out those shorts as well, because I may, give out important info if I'm going live, or if, there's something that we need to watch over the next couple of days, if something's going to happen. And one of the things that I did talk about as well, just let's go in and take a look at the radar real quick, seeing, we're not losing a lot of things here. One of the things that I did, kind of call out yesterday was the whole reason just why we have this storm system in the first place. You might be asking, well, why in the world do we even have this? And if I just saw that correctly, I think they just issued a special weather statement for that area. Hasn't popped up for it yet, if anything. But I guess we'll go in and check that out in just a moment, seeing if they did or not. But the main thing that's causing this is a cold front. Cold front, it's not going to be like cool like we're talking about down into the 70s, 60s, 50s, for highs or anything like that. Like, that's a bit too low. But if we go on and take a look at the forecast map, we look at the short range here, look at the NDFD here, and we look over into Wednesday. This is the official map from the National Weather Service here. And this goes all the way into Wednesday, going over into Thursday. And look at that cold front that we have over here inside of the state. This is again for, let me move this over here. This is again for going into tonight, going into early tomorrow morning. That's the whole reason why we have this risk here. And this goes all the way into Wednesday morning, to where we have that cold front kind of moving in. We move over into Wednesday night, going into Thursday. Kind of stalls out a little bit, but still, bringing us some of that cool air. And then as we go into Thursday night, going into Friday, we still see that front kind of staying over us, but not really bringing too much of a whole bunch of rainfall activity, according to the actual map here from the National Weather Service. So this is what's causing this whole thing to kind of go down here. This is what's kind of causing this whole thing to kind of go down. And so if you want to look at it from a more technical standpoint, to actually see the entire picture throughout the entire U.S., because to be honest, I think that that's probably the best way of looking at it. But going all the way through to July the 28th through the 29th, going into the 30th, you see this trough that we have over here towards the eastern parts? That's what's kind of causing a lot of this cooler, more wetter severe weather activity to kind of occur. You have the warm ridge over here in the west that's kind of causing all this severe weather as well. And then we have this trough over here that's up in the northeast that's also causing some of these conditions over here as well. And so in the middle, you have that severe weather activity that kind of goes on. Now, if you move this all the way through into the 30th, going all the way through into the 31st, you kind of see how we have another little dip that kind of occurs over here inside of the Ohio Valley down into Tennessee a little bit. And that's going to cause more active condition. That's going to cause maybe another flash flooding threat, another severe weather threat. And if you want proof, look how much rainfall we have over here towards the southern part of the U.S., the southeast. All caused by this trough over here, and then obviously the ridge over there in the west. But then we take a little bit of a break, going more into like August, into like the future. And then that's like a whole tropical system over there that we're not even going to go in and comment on right now. That's way too far out and way out into the future. But the main thing here is not trying to stray away from the severe weather tonight, is that this whole reason why all this is going on is due to the cold front, due to the trough, and then also due to the ridge out here over inside of the west. So I guess we can go in and thank the people out west for that. And so it is 9:30. I said this is going to be a big time frame to see what's going on. And guess what? All severe thunderstorm warnings are gone. Every single one of them. Not one of them remains at all. And so what does that mean for me? What that means is I'm about to let this radar right here run. Let me see how many people we have here right now. We've had 205 people tune in, 23 likes so far. And I don't really see anything else of anything throughout here. So I'm going to go on real quick and kind of wrap this up, kind of just bringing you guys on to see what's going on throughout the entire state one last time over here. Anderson, Belton, Oneida Pass down into due west. There's 40-mile-per-hour winds moving through, half an inch in diameter hail over there. And then also more rainfall moving through Camden, moving through Bishopville, moving down into Great Falls, and then over here towards Florence and Marion, over into Mullins and Nichols, those areas. Also receiving some rainfall over in those areas, potentially later on. And then, I mean, honestly, this kind of just did not form like we thought it was going to. But, I mean, I guess that is the best case scenario. That is the best case scenario. I'd rather see a bust scenario happen where we don't see too much of anything rather than if we see severe thunderstorm warnings with up to 70, 80-mile-per-hour winds going throughout the state to where there's damage. And speaking of damage, we have, some damage reports kind of going on throughout the state. In fact, if I go in and check it out, we've had one report today down there inside of Beaufort County that was earlier today. See a tree down on a power line and a tree blocking the roadway down there in Beaufort. So that happened earlier today when the storm moved through, but nothing for right now. And that's, again, like I said, about all that I have to say here for now. So I'm going to let this radar right here run. We're at 790 subscribers. We've had a good amount of people subscribe tonight. Remember, you can subscribe. It's free. It helps me out. It doesn't cost anything. And it doesn't hurt anybody. And it takes like 2 seconds to do. All you need is an account. And all you have to do is hit the subscribe button if you're new. So 10 subscribers away. I'm trying to get by 800 before next week Wednesday, or on next week Wednesday. So about a week and a day or so. So about 8 days to get 10 subscribers. That's totally possible. I mean, that is definitely possible. So go on, share with all the people that you know if you please would like to. And then also go on that you make sure that you also go on and check out my website, scweather360.com as well. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning down over here for Seneca, going down to Westminster, going down into Iva, South Carolina. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds, but the tornado tag is gone. The tornado tag is indeed gone. And so, yeah, that's still there. Okay. So, really just these two are the only things that we're really watching for. Everything else kind of just died out. But that's about all that I have to say here for the talking aspect. I'll still leave the radar here. I'll still leave it live. I'll still keep it here for anybody that wants to stay here. The live stream's not going anywhere until probably later on tonight to where things are starting to calm down. But for now, I'm out. If things start getting, back into the, start hitting the fan, we get a tornado warning, we see something like that, a severe thunderstorm warning with, hitting a populated area, probably will come back. But for now, that's all. So if I don't come back tonight, I'll be back tomorrow morning again with your Wednesday morning forecast update, and then also we'll be here same time tomorrow for your 8 p.m. forecast update. I'm just gonna play some music for like the next or whatever song was just next, and then after that, that's about it. So everyone have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday if I'm not back, and I'm gonna leave this up here running. Thank you to everyone who did tune in for tonight, and especially if you were here since the beginning. Now let me go and give you a round of applause. Which I would very much like to see if you were here from the beginning, because I know all the people who were here since the beginning to let me know if you were still here the entire time. So go ahead and put something inside the chat if you were here since the beginning. But that's about it. I'll be back later on or tomorrow morning.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk. You knocks me out off of my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how. How, 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 how. Hey, hey. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk and you talk that talk. You knocks me out off my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang.
Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down off of your feet. How, how, how. Hey.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk. You knocks me out off of my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how. How, 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 how. Hey, hey. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk and you talk that talk. You knocks me out off my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang.
Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down off of your feet. How, how, how.
Hey. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk. You knocks me out off of my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how. How, 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 how. Hey, hey. bang, bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk and talk that talk. You knocks me out off my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang.
Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down off of your feet. How, how, how.
Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk. You knocks me out off of my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how. How, 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 how. Hey, hey. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk and you talk that talk. You knocks me out off my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang.
Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down off of your feet. How, how, how.
Bang,